and then ask me, Chrissy, this is what is going on in our lives, and you know you can do something about it. I just talked to them, and then I saw that there is a change in them. Miss Akua Ampah, I know one day I'll be like you.
Yo, what can I say? I mean, you can see I'm just trying to stay calm, but it's all good. I've been following this lady for a very, very long time, and personally, I'm excited. I'm excited about what she's been doing, and and her impact and her mindset in relation to development and education. And I don't want to talk too much. Akua Ampah.
Hi, Kweku.
I mean,
everyone.
hey, I've been following you for the past almost about 5 years. You know,
yeah?
exactly.
You're stalking me.
Yeah, like, no, not really
Yep.
though. But it's such a way that when I heard of the whole virtual career aspect and the impact that you are really, really playing in people's lives and transforming people's lives in relation to career development. And I've had some good remarks and good reviews about what you have been doing. I was hyped up, to really get you on board. And thank you for coming to Free Consultation. But let's jump into it.
Yep.
Give our viewers a little brief about who Akua Ampah is.
Well, okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Akua Ampah. Afrocentric. You can see my locks. I support young people with their early career development, and so that means that I'm very hyped up about moving someone from point A to point B. However shape or form that is.
Okay.
Is what I am passionate about. But my focus is really with the career development aspect of people's lives. And what else? Just work-wise, right? You want
Exactly.
to keep it work, right?
I mean, you could share.
And I'm a cyclist, so I like to.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You compete?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Will you compete?
No, I want to.
Okay.
But I'm still in the process of taking that bold step. But yeah, I did a 39 kilometers, I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
From where?
That's impressive.
From Hillbury, Ibri. Up some village somewhere, and I hope to do that once every month with a group I cycle with. Yeah, but on my own, of course, I just cycle in my neighborhood and all that. But I enjoy cycling.
So Brie being a mountain is very hilly, up and
very,
down. So that's an intense 39 kilometers. It's not a flat 39.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I couldn't feel my feet when I.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But I love it. It makes me feel really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
I realized that
and I'm a dog mom. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I have 2 dogs, 2 beautiful dogs. Yeah, Lola and Pao. Shout out Lola, shout out Pao.
That's really, really amazing. I mean, it looks like you're a very chill person,
Yeah.
But in truth, when you get to the field, it looks like you're a beast there, I mean, tell us about the Wise Emerging Leader Program. What is that?
So WISE Emerging Leadership Program. So it's WISE's World Innovation Summit for Education. And what basically that means is that I think they look around the world and they choose young people who are doing impactful things in their communities through education.
Okay.
And I guess they reach out to, I think somebody would have to nominate, and then they'll interview, you go through a process, and then of course, if you meet the criteria, then you are accepted on the program. It's a 1-year leadership program, and after, of course, you are just a WISE Emerging Leader.
Oh, so they reached out to you?
Yeah, so at the time I was working at Ashesi.
Okay.
And my boss, Abigail, shout out to you. She nominated me, and then I went through the process. Yeah. So of course you'd have to share your work. They have to see the stuff you are doing in your community, and then they take it up from there. Yeah.
Okay. And what does the program entail? What are the types of things that you do?
Basically, how to be an effective leader, and also impact your society better. And of course, it's a network of people doing amazing things. So you get to network and collaborate with people to enhance your work. Yeah.
Interesting. What is leadership to you? A lot of times in Africa complain about the leadership. Everybody says it.
Yeah.
Every conference and every
Right.
interview speech, it's leadership.
Leadership.
What is leadership to you?
Leadership to me is work.
It's work. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's work. If you want to be a leader and you're not ready to work, then you probably want to redefine what your understanding of leadership is. So leadership to me is work. Like, you should be ready to get your hands dirty. It's not about you do this, do that, do that, do that. I think it's work. Yeah. For me, it's simple. I don't want to use a textbook definition. Leadership, anytime I think about leadership, is work. Yeah.
One thing I have realized about your work ethic is, I don't know if for you it looks like it's ministry. Not a lot of people think this way, because a lot of people just see it to be like it's a pathway to make money.
Yeah.
Why do you see it as ministry? What triggered that type of mindset and attention to even think that type of way?
So I think I have gone through, or I'm still on the journey of discovering myself.
Okay.
I had to go through that some years ago. I really wanted to find out why I'm here on earth.
Wow.
And I think that journey was what birthed what I'm currently doing, and I guess the mindset I have now. So I believe that we are all here for an assignment. Everybody has their why. Why are you here? I think everybody needs to ask themselves that question, right? And I had the opportunity to ask myself that question: why is Ikea here? What's my assignment? And I think that journey helped me discover that. And I think I've not just discovered it, but I've also accepted that this is my calling, or this is my assignment.
Wow.
And so that's why I do what I do. So I have seen a lot of people who say, I'm passionate about something, but I can't do it, or I can't monetize it, or I can't go all out doing it because I need to survive. I believe that you can marry what you're passionate about and work. So you can actually be doing work, you can be paid, can be making money, and it's also something you're passionate about. So you can merge it, right? And that's a goal for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to work, enjoy work, and it should be something that I'm passionate about, and it's in line with my purpose.
Is that what encouraged you to actually enter into career coaching?
Well, career coaching for me, I was doing it, but I didn't even realize that I was doing it.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. I had the opportunity to go to a university that was very intentional about students' career development. So I went to Ashesi University.
Okay.
And Ashesi University, I always say that you can actually you can do your 4 years in Ashesi, and you come out and you probably have about 50% things sorted out.
What?
When I say sorted out, so our curriculum is designed in such a way that you have a sense of what to do even in other workspace. You may have a sense of it, but as to whether you can actually do it is also another thing. Do you understand? So if I meet a senior executive, right? It probably will not be my first time meeting someone in a higher position. So I can sort of interact with that person.
Okay.
Do you understand? So you won't necessarily find me shaking.
Okay.
And oh my God, what should I tell him?
Okay.
What should I do? Right?
Okay.
I sort of would have an idea, because my 4 years in Ashesi, we probably would have these people come to campus anyway, either through career fair or just coming as guest lectures and all that.
Okay.
So I had that opportunity, I had that exposure very early, from freshman year to my senior year.
Okay.
And when I came out of school, I took human resource management as one of my electives.
Okay.
So I found myself in the HR department in a bank for my national service.
Okay.
Right? And it allowed me to understand what is really going on in Ghana, the educational system and the type of people who come for interviews. And it made me even understand why some people don't have jobs. So I'm going through CVs and I'm like, how do you have a CV like this and expect that someone will call you for an interview? You come for the interview and they are really clueless. And that's when I realized that I was privileged to get that exposure. So I came out of school and I thought that what I got in school was everybody's, I guess, norm, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand what I mean. That's the basic thing you can get. I thought every school had it, right?
Okay,
So I came out to realize that no, I'm actually privileged. It's not the same.
Wow.
Give us for those that have never heard of Ashesi University, right? I believe it was started by a former Microsoft.
Yeah, Patrick
employee.
Ewa. Yeah.
And it was largely funded by some corporate social responsibility grants, with I think MasterCard being one of the major funders.
I don't know if funders at the beginning. I know they came in at some point. Yeah, not as I don't think as the beginning. Right. Yeah.
Tell us about the educational style there and the approach, and what makes it different than other universities. Because I've heard they have a unique approach.
Yeah. It's very hands-on, experiential. They allow you to make mistakes and also find your way. They encourage teamwork. Staff and faculty, it's very easy to relate with them. We don't really have the hierarchy system that you can just walk into your lecturer's office and just talk to them. You have office hours. You have other offices available for you to just...
What is the hierarchy system?
No, the hierarchy system where you have to call someone by their professor, doctor, that kind of thing.
It's like that in Ghana. It's really like that.
Name.
Yeah, so you call your professors by the first name, and it's very okay.
I know. As at the time I was there, you just have to call.
Was
it
it something?
First name. Yeah.
Was it something that was intentional to just allow students to just?
I think so. Maybe
relax?
I don't know. I mean, if the president himself, you can just call him Patrick. I don't know. Maybe, and I think if it was a strategy, then it worked because then it was very easy for you to approach someone and just talk to them about anything that you are going through, even sometimes outside schools. Your curriculum, school stuff.
Would you say Ashesi in a way really groomed you for this?
Yes, Ashesi is one.
Okay.
Of, I guess, the exposure I got that helped me get to where I am right now.
Okay.
But I also would say that my parents also have been instrumental in where I am. My parents allowed me to explore. My parents allowed me to just do what makes me happy. Although it's not too safe now, especially in this society we are in now. You can't just say do what you want, right? But at the time, my parents will I just have to share with them what I want to do, and then they'll probably just say, yeah, go for it if you think that works for you.
So speaking of where you are now, where are you now?
That's a good question.
Brag a little bit. Let people know why they should tune in.
So I think I am... where am I now? I think I'm at a space where I'm aware of who I am. I've accepted it. And I'm going with that energy. That's all I can say.
But more specifically, because people tuning in don't know who you are, never heard your name, what are the major things that you've done that you're really proud of?
Oh, that I know young people can tell someone that it was because of Akua that I am where I am right now.
How many?
I can't count, honestly. I can't.
Approximately.
So if, for example...
Because I saw you speaking in front of some very large crowds.
Very large crowd, consistent
very
like you.
And I saw the one clip of the girl.
So let me say something. Yeah. I'm not really, and maybe that's an African thing. I'm not really good with. I know I'm doing something. I know I'm making an impact in people's, but I'm not really measuring. It may be a bad thing, but I'm not. So if I have to use a number of, like you saw the videos and everything.
Yeah.
If I have to use that, then we are looking at over.
Like thousands.
Oh, come on. And I've been doing this for what? Over 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do the math from that. Yeah.
Because what the video that I saw.
I'm sorry, maybe I have disappointed you. Maybe you want to hear, I have touched over 500 people's lives.
People need to know, in life it's all kind of social proof.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I can say something and then, the founder of Microsoft can say the same exact sentence.
Yeah.
But his sentence is going to be more profound because of people saying, well, this guy that did this is the one saying these things. So it sort of tunes the audience.
Maybe I'll do that homework for you.
Yeah. So, but other than just number of people, so it's like
definitely over 5,000 over. So let's say over 10,000. I would say in the space of 6 years. Yes,
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, over 6,000.
I mean, because that's basically
people who have heard me talk, people who I know I have impacted their lives in one way or the other, either getting a job or having a mindset change or acing an interview or going through their CV and revamping it for them or getting them a mentor who is currently probably giving them some opportunity or something like that.
Because, I mean, personally, I have, one of the things that I do on the side is sell burgers, all right?
Yeah.
And I have had clients who, I have one of the clients who is consistently posting about, the things that you're doing, especially even, with the whole Tertiary Unlocked.
Oh,
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Tertiary Unlocked. I mean, it looks like you're doing quite a very powerful thing too, especially in all different levels, because you have the high school thing that you're doing and the tertiary, then of course you do have the graduate toward them. But Tertiary Unlocked, I mean, is it fused into Virtual Career Office? You can tell us a little bit about Virtual Career Office, then you fuse that whole Tertiary Unlocked. What is Virtual Career Office?
Okay.
And how did all of this fuse in?
Okay. So Virtual Career Office initially just started as a blog. I was just like writing. So at the time I was working at Lancaster University, Ghana.
Wow.
And I was in their career services office.
Okay.
And so students will come to me, they have loads of questions. And sometimes they'll come to me and say, hey, I have a student from this school and I would like for you to talk to them.
Okay.
And I realized that, I can't be at different places at the same time, but I can use my writing to touch lives.
Okay.
So questions that the young ones will come to me and ask, I'll probably just blog. I'll talk about it. So if I was talking to you, and then I'll just write it. And that's how it all started. So it started as a blog.
It looks like some of the things that you started, it's like
no, just
you didn't you weren't intentional about it.
And that's
it
why
just happened.
To date, although I run a consultancy, and that's also something we'll talk about. When you ask me how many people I have, it's just
okay.
I can't really sit down and tell you this unless I'm very intentional about it, right? So yes, I started I was just really having fun. I won't even say fun. It was my way of paying it back. Did you understand? Somebody invested in me. Someone gave me an opportunity. Someone, I went to a school that gave me something that I'm currently benefiting from. And I felt like, you know what? Not everybody will get the opportunity to get that experience or exposure. So why don't I pay it forward? So it was just my way of paying it forward. So this thing I'm doing is just my way of paying it forward. But I guess because I'm passionate about it, because now it's like a ministry, like you said, so people see it in another way. They don't see it as I'm doing just like something that someone is doing, right? And so that's how Virtual Career Office started. So that's why it's virtual.
Okay.
That's why the name virtual is.
Okay.
So it's just like you can walk into a career office and talk to a career advisor. However, it's virtual. So just walk in and just take a virtual book, which is a blog, and then just read.
Okay.
So that's how Virtual Career Office started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just be sitting in my office when maybe lunchtime or probably waiting for the traffic to, and then I'll just start writing, right? And I'll just post. And I realized that, people are actually reading, because then people will send me notes and say, hey, I was actually thinking about this, and then you've answered it in your blog. And I realized, okay, yeah. And the students also liked it, and they will share it and all that. And so, and that's how Virtual Career Office started. Then someone just sent me a note and said that, hey, I think you're getting to a point where you should migrate from it being you launching your blog on the WordPress, I guess the WordPress, right? And actually make it a website.
Okay.
I was like, what kind of pressure, cry? I mean, I'm just having fun, you know? And I was like, yeah, do it, and I'm going to pay for it. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, then I think he just put people, I don't know, something just happened. And no, I think he told me to just get someone who would do it for me. So I just reached out to a friend who designed the website that you see now.
What's the name of the blog?
virtualcareeroffice.com.
Okay.
But at the time, it was virtualcareeroffice.wordpress.com.
Okay.
And then it was getting to a space where like people were reading, and he felt like we should just make the domain, I guess buy a domain in the virtual career office thing. So now we have the virtualcareeroffice.com.
Wow.
So that's how it started. So again, I was pushed to move from being, I'm just writing, I'm just whatever, and actually have a website and then build it up, yes. So that's how the virtual career, and so that's why it's virtual, because the idea was for people to just virtually go on there and read a book or a blog and just ask questions if they had any. And then that's how it started.
So that's how that bit also started.
Exactly.
And again, tertiary unlocked in the high school.
Yeah, so then that's how the virtual career office started. And now people started reaching out to me to speak, do career programs for them, facilitate career development workshops for them. Organizations will come and say, hey, I'm doing this. I have a CSR program or a budget, and I want you to come and do something. So then I realized, okay, we're actually getting somewhere.
Because this is turning into a whole...
We are getting somewhere. And so then I was just doing it on the side and all that. And I think I went for a conference or something. I went for a conference, and something just dropped into my my spirit or whatever. And it was more like, who is actually preparing those transitioning from high school to tertiary?
Because, I mean, that I saw it to be very interesting, because it was something where I remember when I was in high school, I used to like, why are people not really focusing? Because the young people, when you are in that stage, that's where a lot of crazy things really happen. So when I saw you do that, I was like, Akua really understands this calling.
So that's what just came. It was just like, who is preparing these young ones from transitioning from high school to...
And how are you able to build a team to get people to believe in this? And like, you're touring around. How are you able to do that?
So, can you permit me to be a little... religious here? Am I permitted to be a little religious here?
I mean, feel free.
So the thing is, like I said earlier, I've gone through on that journey of discovering myself, and because I'm on that journey, I also on the journey of also understanding who I am and why I'm here on earth.
Okay.
I'm also understanding why God brought me to this earth, and as a result of that, it's also deepening my relationship with Him, with God. Wow. So I'm seeing that, like that. I'm seeing that a lot in the work I do. Wow. So I always get this. People say, "Okay, how are you doing this?" And sometimes I personally don't even know why I do some of the things that I do. But what I know for sure is that I always sense things. So like I said, something just dropped my spirit to say, who is preparing these people for that, right? And because I know that I have an assignment, right?
It flows in it.
Because I know I have an assignment, if I don't act on it, it's like it haunts me for some time. Like it's something like every time it's just in my spirit, like who is preparing it? And one of the things that I can say by God's grace I am good at is I'm a creative. Like I can think through things. Like I can sit down and just conceptualize something and then bring it to life, right? And that's something that I have. So when stuff like that drop in my spirit, I'm able to sit down and then design a program around it and all that. So I know you check my status, for example.
Exactly.
So sometimes I'm just playing around and I just put something, I pose a question on my status, and I probably have someone who DM me and say, hey, Akua, I think it's a good thing. Roll it out and I'll support you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mostly will get that. So if somebody's supporting me, they're probably going to talk to or speak to maybe their HR about me, and then probably get a budget for maybe their CSR program or whatever, and then you see me running with this.
It's like you're
and
running
that,
with some supernatural.
Well, that's one. And so I initialized to shy away from that, the God factor in my life, or the
because I know how the corporate world really, exactly
the work I do and everything, but I can't shy away from it anymore, right? It's what it is. So there are people who would maybe send me a note on LinkedIn, like a WhatsApp message on LinkedIn. So even my team, for example, I didn't actively say I'm recruiting, and I've not even recruited. Nobody's on the payroll. No, nobody's on the payroll. Like, everybody is doing it. Like, Akua, I love what you're doing. I believe in what you, and I want to support you. I don't pay anyone. I have a lot of volunteers, but I have a core team, right? And we are about, plus me, we are about 4. Yeah, we are 4. And everybody has their own thing that they do, but virtual career office, or the work we do, is very important to them too. They go above and beyond for me, and it wows me. Like, I've said, and that's when I know that this is what God wants to do, but He's doing it through me, and then He's bringing people around me to actually do it.
So it started as a blog, and then the blog basically evolved into a consultancy.
Yes.
Okay, so what for those people, let's say somebody who's out there looking to advance their career or get their first job, what do you do for them? Why should they go to virtualcareeroffice.com?
Right, sure. So the first thing will be that, of course, we have a one-on-one coaching session. I want to better understand where you are at now, the skills that you have, and then all that. So it will just be having conversations with you and all that. So that's a career coaching. I can revamp your CV. I can just go through your CV and see what maybe you need to take out or add, and maybe we can, hopefully that would help you get something to do. And then I can also help you ace an interview. So if you are scheduled for an interview, for example, we can just do a mock interview, and then I can help you. And one of the things that I also do is, I don't do everything all by myself, right? Because of what I do, I have a lot of people in industry who believe in what I do, and then they support me one way or the other. So, for example, if you're going to do an interview for a role, let's say you want to be something in maybe marketing or whatever, I probably will know someone in that space who can actually mentor you or prepare you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't always have to do it myself.
Right.
So I always know someone.
You connect them with mentors.
I can just, So I mostly do that. So I think for me, one of the things that I would say, when you want to engage maybe me or the virtual career office, just know that whatever you want to do, I probably will know someone who can actually coach you or mentor you. So,
and typically that
I'm like
type
a
of
connector, sort of.
Wow. Yeah. Typically that type of service would be relatively expensive, especially with a mentor.
Yeah.
Is it expensive with you guys, or is
I don't charge. I don't.
It's free.
I don't.
So you're doing all of that for free.
Yeah, I don't.
So there's no
So
reason.
I don't make money directly from students.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I make money from the consultancy.
All right. Cool. So a lot of Ghanaians complain about there's no jobs. When I first got here, that was like the main thing I was hearing. Everybody's like, there's no jobs. I saw that the unemployment rate is about 15%. Not sure how accurate that figure is, but how much of a factor do you think the skills or aptitudes of applicants are in this unemployment rate? Do you feel as if that there are a lot of jobs that can't be filled because there aren't adequate candidates, or do you feel as if there's really more so just a structural employment issue? Do you think that it's possible to close that gap, to reduce that unemployment number by, helping people become better candidates?
Right, that's actually a good question. I think for me, it's just the educational system. That's where I would start from. If our educational system, if we had a curriculum that...
in public schools.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Not private schools, public schools that fosters critical thinking skills and even entrepreneurial skills. Okay. I think we will be fine. So it will not necessarily be just the people. Well, the people don't have the skills because the educational system does not equip people with the skills, right? So that's what I believe we have to maybe look at. First, the educational system, the curriculum, and so that the curriculum would actually prepare or equip the students or young people with the skills for work. And I also think that when we talk about unemployment, we are always looking at the corporate space.
Okay.
We want people to graduate and do the 9 to 5 or join the corporate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're told in a way, though.
That's it. I feel like people need to start considering other opportunities outside the corporate space. I, for one, believe that you need to get that industry experience or corporate experience, even if you want to do entrepreneurship personally.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel that for me as an entrepreneur, there are things that I feel I'm doing, I'm good at now because I got that exposure in the corporate environment.
Okay.
So being time conscious, maybe knowing how to network, right?
Okay.
It's just because of the space I found myself in,
Okay.
right? So even if you want to do a year or two in the corporate space, yes, you should be able to do that and maybe jump into the entrepreneurship if you want to do that. So I think that the first thing we want to look at when we are thinking about unemployment is first go to the schools. How's the curriculum like? Is it even preparing young people for work or entrepreneurship or whatever? That's what we need to look at. And then also helping people, young people know that it shouldn't be only the corporate space that you need to go to be successful. There are other ways that you can. So I don't think it's just it's not only a skill thing. Like you said, there's a structure bit to it too, and then the skills, and I guess just a mindset shifts from we need to work in the corporate space, and that's what we need to do, and that's it.
So if somebody was looking to an alternative to working for a corporation, what are some couple options you recommend?
Right now, I mean, we have ELX now.
What is that?
ELX, I don't even know what the full thing is, but I know they are grooming or preparing or equipping young people with data analytics, I guess, skills or whatever. So they come out and they can do anything in data analytics.
In relation to the
IT and all that.
Okay.
And I know they do that. So even when you get that skills, you can actually be your own, you can start your own business, you can offer these services to organizations or for other people, right? So I think that's actually one of the things that you can consider. And really look at what you are. I know people shy away from, passion, but that's actually a clue for you. Look at what you are passionate about, what you, even if it's this, what we are doing, was this podcasting or whatever, right? You can do it in such a way that you become good at it, that people even want to host their programs or their podcasts here, right? And that's big money for you, right? And even brands will sponsor and all that. So I feel there's also this new term now, the non-traditional career paths, right? And that's what I can't sit here and say go into this or that. But I would say that look within, find out the things that you are passionate about, and build the skills around it. And when you build the skills around it, you become very good at it that nobody can ignore you. And that's where you can start making money.
You know, it's funny because you talk about, following your passion. And a lot of people say that it's a debate. Because some people are on one side of the fence, some people are on the other side of the fence. A lot of Ghanaian parents are on the I don't care what your passion is. You need to go into what is hot and what is making money, because I'm paying for that education.
Exactly.
I'm not paying for you to have.
Exactly.
I'll tell you a funny story. One time when I was in college, I called my dad and I said I'm switching to journalism. And he was like, "No, you're not switching to journalism. I didn't send you to that school." to do. So he's like, "What is journalism?
Exactly.
Can you find a job being a journalist? Can you?" But the funny thing is, like, I'm kind of doing it now after doing other things.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting debate, and I wonder how much it affects unemployment, because when people do the things they're passionate about, right, they tend to excel at them more so than people who are doing it because their parents forced them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And when you do things to a very high level, you create the bigger companies that employ more people.
Right.
So I feel as if maybe, I don't know, sometimes it's tough because, you know, there's a desperation factor too. When you're not eating
And security,
and somebody tells you you're passionate, you're like, yo, I need money. Like,
So you know what? I understand what you're saying. I've actually had a lot of parents call me and talk to me about that because I preach that a lot. So they call me and say, "Hey, okay, my child said that, you know." And what
they call, do they ever get angry with
well,
this?
they like
because some goddamn parents can be intense like
Madam,
that.
please, are you okay? You know, my daughter is just talking about you and telling you that you admire what you're doing, and you see she's doing what she's passionate about, and so now she wants to, you know. But what I always say is, I think the reason our parents are a little not happy about passion is because they are of that generation where for them it was just security. They needed to make sure that at least every month there's money coming in. So that's their mindset. What I would say is, if we start early, if you start discovering that thing early.
But do you feel like
and that is why I was talking about
culture, we even encourage that?
And that's what we're talking about, the educational system, why we have to even just change that.
Okay.
You know, if our educational system actually would foster that, will actually unearth people's talents, passions, and all that. I feel when you're in class 1, class 2, or whatever, you are going through that system. It'll be very easy for someone to come out of university and say that I want to be a journalist, like you're saying, I want to be a podcaster, or whatever. And it won't be an issue because then you've gone through the journey, you've had a mentor, you've actually done some internships, you've actually done some job shadowing programs here and there. You've probably even getting some few gigs somewhere somehow. You've made your mistakes. You have gone through some entrepreneurship training or program and all that. So you're coming out and you're not now coming to discover yourself. Yeah. And that's why our parents will tell you, no, please, I didn't take you to school to do that. Yeah. But if it's also part of our curriculum to
foster
your passions and all that, you are doing it together. And then that works. So I think the problem is the time we start that discovery.
It's a bit late.
It's very late. I think it's very, very late. If you're starting very early, we will all come out and be doing things that we are meant to do, not because somebody says we should do, or because the economy is not good. So I need to survive.
I have this joke that I often say that school is the only place you'll go for 13 years and become a professional. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
So you come out. You go there from 5-6 years old till like 18 years old, and you're qualified for nothing.
Yeah.
But could you let me ask you a question?
You're right.
You had the opportunity to actually, school abroad.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference in relation to the school system, the educational system?
I can't tell you the difference because I haven't gone to both. The best person to ask would be somebody who went to school in Ghana and went to school in the U.S. But the thing about school in the U.S. is it's so varied. It's a huge spectrum. It's very unfair, actually. So in America, schools are funded largely by property taxes. Okay. So if you live in a more wealthy area, you get better funding in your schools. Okay. So the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor.
Yeah.
But how does it help with your mindset? Like what she is saying.
If you go to a good school?
Yeah, in relation to really digging you up to really just...
See, the good schools...
Follow that,
It's like this. The good schools pay teachers good salaries. Okay. The best salaries make it the most competitive teachers. So you get the best teachers. Then you have the best equipment. Okay. Like I'm talking like my parents forced to make sure we lived in like one of those wealthy counties where they had the good public schools. So I didn't go to private school, I went to public school. Oh, okay. But it's basically almost like you basically pay the property tax almost like as if you're going to a private school because of that, right? And so you get like new computer. The computer lab would be like refreshed every 2 years. Like all the computers.
How many years do our computer labs?
I'm telling you.
Do you even have the computers? Please.
You'll be there 2 years, and like, I remember we had like touch screen Promethean boards, and I was actually in a leadership program myself in my senior year. It was called the Superintendent's Leadership Program. So they picked like 15 kids out of the county to do it, and I was in it. And so once a month we got to meet with the superintendent of all the schools, which is basically like the guy that oversees all the public schools, which is like maybe almost 100 schools, right, for that in that area, which is very prominent. And I asked him point blank, I was like, we had like $1 billion surplus, and I was like, why don't you allocate just a little bit of that surplus to help the county right next to us? So my county is called Montgomery County. It was a rich county. The next county next to us was Prince George's County, which, interestingly enough, a lot of famous people come out of Prince George's County, but it's rough. I'm talking your bus breaks down on the way to school. You don't even get to the school, right? It's a lot of violence, a lot of drugs, a lot of all types of stuff. I was like, they're suffering. Why not just give them, if you gave them $5 million out of the $1 billion surplus that we have, that's surplus meaning we paid for all of that crazy stuff, and we still have $1 billion. And he just kind of gave me an answer about social Darwinism and stuff like that. And, I think that's somewhat some of the problem with the world is that sometimes we don't recognize that, well, if you concentrate all the wealth in one place, what happens? Then now you're like living in this, like, trying to create a sheltered enclave where you're like afraid of your neighbor because you refuse to help him, basic,
and they will
needs.
come at you.
When you get robbed, then you complain about race, about like, it's because he's black. No, it had nothing to do with because he was black. It's you deprived, that school system was deprived. Their parents don't pay. So let's say the only people that pay property taxes are homeowners. If you're a renter, you don't pay property taxes. Okay. And especially if you're living in government housing. Of course, you don't pay property taxes.
Okay.
So the poor don't pay property taxes. So who's funding their schools? Yeah. They have a little bit of state money, but it's like
very little.
So eventually, even the educational system, exactly.
Stay poor. It's a little bit more. In Ghana, it's
the reverse.
I think your public schools. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me, but they're all somewhat equal.
All the public schools?
Public schools.
The public university.
The public ones are some, or the secondary.
The secondary, funny enough, the public secondary, when it comes to the high school bit, the good ones are actually the public.
Really?
Exactly. The good ones. You went to Achimota.
What do you mean by the good ones are the public?
Well, some of these private schools I've seen in Ghana.
No, I'm talking about the public secondary schools.
I've seen some serious private
the public
schools.
secondary schools like in Fountain,
but
Wesley Girls. These are all public.
Some of these international schools.
Are they public or is a bit of public and private?
They are public
so you realize that they are much more the kind of people that come out of those kind of schools are the ones who are basically in a way running the country. So it's such a way that, you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to go to all of these different type of schools, these public schools, but the ones that are low key and the ones that we know, how is the difference? Like, you do realize that what he is trying to say, that the public schools, especially the public secondary schools, produce some high level of education where, most of the people that come out are well intellectually quite okay.
Yeah,
though.
so... Well, my time, right? We have the top tier, mid, and then 1, 2, 3, right?
Exactly.
So that's when we have the first choice, second choice, and third choice. And your first choice will probably typically be the top tier schools.
Exactly.
So
and those are public schools, naturally.
Yeah, the infant payment and all
exactly.
that. And then second and then third, that's when your grades are not good at all, right? But now I don't think that works. No, I think because of the free SHS, I don't think don't quote me on that. I don't think there's something like the first choice, second or third choice. I don't think so.
But in relation to the public school bit and the teaching bit, is it? I mean, the teaching. How is it? I mean,
so this is a little political, so I don't want to comment on it.
Okay,
but some of these very expensive international schools. I mean, there's one international school near cantonments where you pay $30,000 a year per kid.
Okay,
dollars.
Yeah.
Very true.
You think that the public schools will be better than that school?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
No,
So there's still a
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Not at all.
Okay.
They have the right resources and all. No, not at all.
And the teachers they can pay.
Yeah.
I remember one of
But
the
whether they will come out right is also another question.
Right. What do you mean when you
Right
say
in the
rights?
sense of like you were saying that most of the leaders we have now
exactly.
are the ones, they went to these public schools.
Exactly.
The president went to private school, right? 100%.
No,
He didn't go to
no, he
private
didn't.
school.
I know he went
Most of the
to
ministers
no.
actually went to a lot of
No,
public
I know he
schools,
went to
especially when it comes to
Kimbu.
this.
I think he went to Kimbu second.
Okay.
I think
I mean,
so.
uh-huh.
I think he
And
went
that's
to a
not
public
exactly-
school. That's high school. I don't know
But
about university
eventually,
and all that.
in relation to his university bit,
I don't think he did it here.
he
He traveled. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think he did
So
it
those
here.
are private schools.
Exactly.
Yeah,
those
I
are
don't
those
think
are
so.
those are the
Maybe.
private
Yeah, I
international
don't think
schools
so.
where when you have access to it, it can really
That's actually
differentiate
quite,
you.
That's interesting, though.
It can really
Yeah.
really differentiate you.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can go to a public school and still do well. You can go to a private school and still do well, I think.
But your system, I mean, the system in America is actually very
Structured.
Like
Yeah.
it's actually quite interesting how you said this, where you realize that is there a clear propaganda that it makes the poor stay poor, or it makes the
It's
rich.
very intentional.
Wow.
People never say it out loud, but it's extremely intentional. Like I've had the chance to sit down with some very wealthy people and have them say it to me point blank. Like I was in school, I won't say the person's name, but I was talking to this guy. His dad was a big banker, not like central bank level banker.
Wow.
And he was like, "We don't want university to come down in price."
Wow.
Because we were having a debate. We were like, they keep raising tuition every year. I think it's exorbitant that we don't really get the value for what we're paying. This doesn't make sense. And he was like, "Yeah, but we want it that way." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "There's only so much room at the top." So there's it's intentional. It's
Very
intentional.
intentional, yeah.
But
That's cool.
getting back to coming out of the education system, and when you're looking for a job, in your experience, what's the most common thing that job seekers are lacking in terms of skill, in terms of character, in terms of whatever aptitude?
I think it will be networking skills. Now I think we have
Never thought of that.
Yeah, we've moved from. I have to open the newspapers and see the job opportunities there, or I don't even think people post job opportunities on their websites. I don't think so. And I know people who would reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you know someone in your network who you can recommend for this role?" And they're not advertising it. So I would say networking, and actually that's why I have one of the reasons I have the unscripted with Akua.
Okay.
I'm realizing that a lot of people either are not confident enough to just start a conversation with someone. So you know this person works at this company that you so want to work, and you see the person, you're just like looking at the person. And I mostly find my students doing that. I'm like, go and talk to them.
They're shy.
Yeah, they're shy.
It's a Ghanaian thing like that.
Yeah, just go and talk. So just compliment him on something. Just say something, and then that's where you talk about the elevator page and all that. What to actually say to break the ice and all that, and to introduce yourself and all that. So I think networking is one of the things that I'm realizing that a lot of people lack. The networking skills, right? They are unable to, and it's funny enough, I'm going to say something that I also need to work on. They are unable to tell people who they are, what they have, and how they can add value to what they are doing.
Sell themselves.
Yes. I struggle.
Is it humility, or is it?
I don't think it's humility. I think they just don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think it's humility. It's just like, how do I even do it?
Yeah.
Nobody's teaching them that, right?
Interesting.
And I mean, maybe the humility bit is there, but I don't think it's that. I think it's more of the, I just don't know how to do it, right? And all that. So I think for me, it's more of the networking skills. Like we've had events where we had industry professionals. When I talk about industry, I'm talking about the top guys in a room. We had young people there, and they would just come to say, "Yeah, oh, is that the CEO of this?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, I would love to go and do an internship." I'm like, "Okay, so just go. It's like, "Okay, how do I do it?" You know, and stuff like that. Like, you know, and so that's one of the things that I feel that, and a lot of people are getting jobs just because they went to say hi to someone, and then they just told them about what they are doing. They got very interested in what they are doing, and they said, "Okay, you can come and do an internship." And now they are working there full time. They didn't see any job opportunity, nothing like that. I also know people who are working in spaces where they didn't probably have a role for it. They were not recruiting, but they were just so impressed with what this young person is doing and say, "You know what, just come, start doing something, we'll create something." So I know people who are creating departments for people, and not because they even thought about it, but they said something that, "You know what, this will be relevant to what I'm doing, and so just come in and help me."
So how would somebody improve those skills of networking and selling themselves?
I think it would start with you doing some inventory of yourself. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So find out even the skills that you have. What are you currently doing, and how can you sell that? So I think that the first thing will be the reflection. Just reflect on who you are and what you have, right? Because I feel like if you know what you have, it's very easy to talk about it and sell it. Yeah. So lots of people don't even know what they have or their potential. I mean, so it's very difficult for them to even have a conversation.
It helps me to write it down sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what. So when I'm in a certain space, I know how to engage someone because I'm aware of what I have and I know what the person would benefit from what I have.
Could you let me...
I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
You
Let's talk about our experience in relation to the interviews that we had with the Ghanaian people and the Nigerian people.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
All right. And you do realize that what she's saying, the Nigerian people sold themselves in such a way that it really caught our attention.
From resume to interview.
Exactly.
Yeah. The resumes were stronger.
Now, this is the question where I'll come to you. Do you feel like the people who are really looking for jobs, they've really built that skill enough to even adequate them to even get access to that job?
Why do you think the Nigerians are... do you think it's parenting?
I think Nigerians and Ghana, when you do that comparison, I don't think it's even the educational system or anything. I think it's just...
I think it's parenting.
No, but don't you think
it's their culture. They are very aggressive people.
It's not just that, but
they are go-getters. Like
one thing I always noticed about Nigerian parents is that they put a lot of confidence into their kids. Yeah. They tell them from a young age, like, "Yo, nobody's better than you. Like, you're the best. Like, you know, like absolutely anything that you want to do, you can be the top at it. And, you know, you never be afraid of anybody," type of thing.
So I think Ghanaians are more... Exactly. So you feel like it's just our laid back nature as Ghanaians, where we just don't know how to really sell ourselves really well.
Yeah, I think naturally we are laid back.
Because
Ghanaians are scared of people.
I mean, the experience we had was...
Like, they get intimidated.
I'm telling you, the experience we had, especially... I am Ghanaian, but Kojo, I mean, hasn't really lived in Ghana. That, you know, so it was his first time experiencing... And he was totally in awe. Like, you know, we complain about the unemployment bit, but yet it was the nature in which people even wanted the job and how they went at it, you know, and it was so clueless. It was so like, you could not even feel the seriousness. And eventually the job will... Most of the people who work with us are Nigerians.
Yeah, I feel you.
And that's lost out. Ghanaians have lost out to that.
I actually have some employees. I have employees who reach out to me and tell me, like I was saying earlier, that, I have this role and I want you to recommend someone. I do that. And then the employer will call me and say, "Akua, does she really want the job?" Oh. Yeah, they will call me later and say, "Akua, does she really want the job?" And I'm like, "Why?" I was like, even her aura is just off. Like... And there's someone who's been sitting home for like close to 3 years.
Okay, what do you think?
So did you understand what I mean? You should go with some...
But why do you think it's like that? Do you feel like Ghanaians really want to work?
No. I think that's very.
I mean, there's very hardworking people
Yeah.
on it. Like people
No,
are-
but I mean, could you?
I think
you are
to
in
be
the
fair,
space.
to be fair, our upbringing too plays a role.
Ikea.
I think so.
Ikea, how? I mean, look at you.
Yeah,
You're a
I think it
Ghanaian,
plays
aren't you?
It plays a role though.
I am, but I'm not.
So
like,
what-
I'm not like a super confident human being. No. I'm not your super. I mean, I think I think I use that word loosely. I'm a confident person, of
Okay.
course, with what I do and all that. I'm very confident, right? But I'm not an aggressive person. I think there's a difference.
Okay.
I'm confident, like I can have a conversation with you.
And that's
I can
sometimes us. That's
I
all
can
that
say,
matters.
yo, I need you to give me feedback and I want you to be honest about it. A lot of Ghanaians can say that. And I'll just tell you, I'm like, yo, tell me as hard as it is or
the
as
culture.
difficult. Yeah, tell me. I'm very confident. Like I when I want something, I'll go for it. Unless I don't want it.
So this is what you're
But
playing.
I'm not an aggressive person, as in I'll be calling you every day just because I want something.
Okay. I mean, I get that.
Unless
bit.
I don't understand what aggression is.
I mean, I get
aggression.
that
I think
bit.
is too.
I get
Sometimes
that
it's
bit.
how you talk.
Exactly. I feel
Exactly.
I've
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah. I can be very calm with what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
I want what I want, but I'm calm about it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
A lot of
do.
people,
Yeah.
especially from like the East Coast in America, when they come here, they realize they kind of have to tone down the way they speak very directly. Ghanaians take it as offensive. No, seriously, because
Yeah.
like sometimes aggression is seen in like the way you talk. Like you say something very
Yeah.
direct. Like, yo, this
Yeah.
is exactly what I
Yes.
want from you, and this is when I want it.
Yes. Yeah.
Ghanaians will see that as like, whoa.
What's that?
They
Yeah.
more say like,
Sugarcoat it a bit,
For
right?
example, like somebody from DC, they're not gonna say, "Hey, good morning. How are you? How are you feeling?" They're like, "Yo, did you get this thing done?" No. What are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was supposed to be done yesterday,
And it's impersonal.
and yeah, it's just like, yo,
because Ghanaians are going to take it personal. That's
yeah,
true.
they'll take
Yeah.
it. Ghanaians will take it very personal.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural.
Yeah,
thing.
it's a cultural thing. You
Yeah.
need to say hi to me. You need to.
It's a cultural
You
thing.
need to. Yeah, you're not insensitive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not sensitive. Sorry, you're not sensitive. You're
But
very
it's-
insensitive.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But it's also, but that type of there's a positive and negative because that type of aggression, it kind of brings a little bit of the best out of you.
True.
'Cause you're
you
like,
get
yo,
a job done.
This guy's gonna chew me out if I don't do it by this
this time.
exact
Exactly.
time. Like, you know?
I think our laid back nature really just,
Okay.
it does certain things. Okay. So this question here is something where, it's something that personally, due to the project that we are on, one of the things where we realized that it was a huge problem was access to better income, and it was something where we realized that, okay, if we could help people get access to better jobs, better income, it makes it possible for them to afford some of the projects we are on in relation to the real estate bit. Now, as somebody seeking for a job, all right, how can one prepare themselves adequately to be attractive enough for these kind of international jobs? Because it's one of the things where we realize that, do you even feel like Ghanaians are naturally in that zone where they attract these international jobs? And if you've had a certain type of experiences where you've helped some students get access to these international jobs.
Right. So I think first it will be the mindset.
Okay.
You first want to, or you first have to know that you are capable of getting opportunities anywhere, regardless of where you are, whether you're in Ghana or
How do
wherever.
you even build that mindset? Because
So
Ghanaians are naturally shy, as you said.
people actually ask me that question. How do you build that mindset? Honestly, I don't have an answer, but then I think if you have a picture of where you want to go, right? Sometimes you have to just be intentional about changing something about you to get there. So that's why I say that I think we need to get to a point where we are we are honest about ourselves,
Okay.
right? And know that, okay, I am a little, I don't want to use the word laid back,
Okay.
but I am not too confident.
Okay.
We need to get there where we accept the fact that that's how we think of ourselves, right?
Okay.
And then take steps
Okay.
to changing that narrative that we have.
Okay.
And that would, some people do that through either getting someone to, like they call them their hype master, tell them that, hey, you can do it. And I went through that.
Okay.
So I had people who have to like talk to me and say, okay, you know what, you can do this thing. Sometimes just getting good people around you and saying positive things to you.
Okay.
And that's actually one of the ways that maybe you can help boost your confidence or whatever. And the mindset to, sometimes I think someone talked about parenting or something. I don't know, I did or you did.
Yeah, you actually, exactly.
Yeah, I think largely it's your upbringing. If you are lucky to find or be in a space where you were encouraged to take risk, also encouraged to put yourself out there, and even when you make a mistake, they still encourage you. It was just a mistake. Just pick up yourself and just do it again.
Ghanaian parents.
And I think that helped. I think personally it helped me, right? Because when I was young, I had a lot of people, you know that thing, oh, you're too black. Like actually you don't say dark, like you don't even say dark skinned or something. I was like, I'm very black, like those things, you're very black, they used to go blacky and all that.
I know, right?
But
I experienced the same thing
in Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah, in Ghana. But
They actually even called me back in. They called me Lucy. You know what Lucy is? So Lucy was a monkey in Accra Zoo.
oh shit.
Why?
Yeah, my SOS people.
So
And funny enough, I accepted that name like it was cool. Can you imagine? Not knowing I was the way. I mean, hey,
you're
but it's
too
all
black
good.
and
I
all
know.
that. And I think for me, it never got to me because of my parents. My father, I think my father did a good job by making me feel confident in my skin. He actually will let me know that I have my skin tone is
Yeah, because
really,
at some point I didn't want to be fair, bro.
yeah, he told me my skin tone is really nice and all that. And I think today the reason I probably don't, you probably not even find me wearing makeup or probably doing the extensions, just because I think there was a time that I think after high school I found myself doing all those things. My father called me and I was like, yeah, these things don't look good on you. You are naturally beautiful.
Wow.
And that was it for me. So it's just like, these are people who are like my support system. When they tell me things, I believe them. So even if you're saying something to me and I don't see you as my support system, I don't even take you seriously.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I think that has conditioned me, and also it's helping me do the things I do.
I think it links also what you were talking about, the bit about the mindset and believing that you can do it and the risk taking.
Right.
The education system, and even sometimes the way parents approach education, you get punished for making mistakes.
Very true.
Yeah.
But in the real world, in the business world, yes, mistakes can hurt, but you get punished more for not trying.
For not trying, exactly. Yes.
Right? Like, and especially with like a job interview, the way I approach it is like, the worst thing they're going to do is say no.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're going to call every company and be like, hey, don't hire this.
Yeah.
No, they don't have
it's
time
just
for
no.
that.
Yeah.
It's just they're going to say no.
Exactly.
But the thing that it does do is it removes that fear of the unknown. You know, like sometimes you make something so big in your head, like, oh my God, thing is going to be so scary. I'm so worried. What if this happens? What if that happens? And then when you get there, you're like, it wasn't really that bad. And then once you get past that, you're better off. But you know, one thing I didn't go to school in Ghana, but I know that in some schools, like, kids get hit for getting answers wrong.
Yes.
But you know, like, the only way to get better is to get things wrong.
Exactly. And to keep on it.
And then improve. So like we kind of
It's just reversed,
reversed to what you need.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get out of it.
Exactly.
Like, people are afraid to get, like, going back to what you talked about, interviewing people. I have one question I ask people to see, like, their problem solving skills. And some people are afraid to answer the question.
Yes.
They're afraid to give an answer. Like, I'm going to, like, go find them and beat them if they get it wrong. No, seriously. So it's like, you know, it's a real problem.
Right.
It's a big problem.
I mean, I tell people that I'm not doing anything that no one hasn't done before or can't do or anything. I think the difference is just that I'm just confident about the things I'm doing.
Okay.
I think that's the difference. So I know people who can do what I'm doing even better. They can probably coach someone better than I am. But there's that person can do it, but it's not doing it. Why? Because he's either shy, he doesn't know what somebody will think of him or her and all that. So I think it's just really the mindset. It's just knowing, believing in yourself, knowing that, you know what, I can do this, and then just go with the flow. Like he said, what's the worst that can happen?
Okay. They're just gonna say no.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's
so
the worst that can happen?
So
really?
tell us, I mean, have you personally helped some students, build them up to actually get access to some of these international jobs?
Yeah. So with where I was working, I used to work at Ashesi University, like I mentioned. I just didn't go to school. I actually worked there.
Okay.
And so Ashesi has partnerships with these global organizations, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft and all that.
Okay.
And so, of course, they'll come to the career center and they will review their CVs. We'll prep them for interviews and all that. So we have a whole lot of them out there doing wonderful things, and
that's big.
That's actually quite good.
Yeah.
So
really doing
right,
great things.
I mean, it's such a way that right now with the way the world is right now, and access to remote jobs globally, people can reach out to you, and you can actually help them get, build them enough to get access to some of these remote jobs internationally. You can help them out
definitely.
with that.
I said earlier, I said earlier, I'm not sitting here. I don't want you to think I'm going to do this all by myself. I definitely know people who can just help you even better than me.
Wow.
So, like I said, I have students who are probably in Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and all these companies. If you want to go there, I can just place a call and say, hey, I have a student who is looking to either doing an internship there and all that. I want to connect you guys and just prep or just talk to them about the process and all that. So I may not be of course I will do that for you, but it will not just be that step.
Exactly.
I'll probably prep you and all that, but I want someone who is already in the system, who is already at Goldman Sachs or Google to talk to you.
Okay.
And
Google too?
Yeah, I know people. Yeah, I know. My classmate actually works there. I have a classmate who I know two people who work there.
I just want to get this
so
right.
I can always just reach out to them.
You said all of this is free?
Yeah. I don't charge for connecting someone to.
Oh, because in Ghana these things come with costs.
I know, right? I know, because you cannot.
No, I don't charge for reviewing someone's CV or prepping them for an interview.
Or even connecting them up like this?
No, I don't.
So how? And when they get the job?
No, I don't charge.
You don't even charge? You don't even get a certain percentage?
No, I don't. Have I charged you? No, I don't.
So
that's why I run the consultancy. And the consultancy, what I do with the consultancy is that I help. So my goal is that I want a lot of these tertiary institutions to improve their career services delivery.
Okay.
So that what I got when I was in school, we can find that in different schools. So I've designed.
So it's like somehow you're spreading Ashesi.
Yes. If you can't get Ashesi, if you can't go to that school, you shouldn't be at a disadvantage. Wow. So that's what I'm saying, that I'm just paying it forward, right? So I've designed a framework that if you are in that space, if you're a career services advisor or professional, and you wanted to enhance your delivery for students to actually engage with you and all that. I do trainings for people like that. I've done that with some schools and all that. So that is where, for example, I would charge, of course. That is not free.
Okay.
And that takes care of what I do with the virtual career office. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So the consultancy feeds the virtual career office.
The consultancy, is it under the same name or is it?
Yeah, so the consultancy is Clear Path Career Consult.
Okay.
And under that, we have the virtual career office.
Okay.
So, yeah, if a young person reaches out to me for me to help them, I don't charge them. But if an organization reaches out to me, a corporate organization, for me to either facilitate a workshop or the high school things that you see me doing and all that, of course, that I charge.
That you charge.
Yeah, that I charge.
But okay, one thing I find very interesting here is it looks like you have leverage. All right, you have some level of leverage and influence. Now, for somebody who really wants to build that leverage and influence, how did you get there? How is it that you were able to get all of these people? And how is it that these people are able to reach out to you and trust that the person that you are recommending is actually quite good? How did it get to this point?
I think what has worked for me is I have been in this space for some time.
Okay.
So I'll say that I've been in this space for a good, 8 years?
Okay.
Although I have about 11 years of work experience, but I've been in career services for about, I'll say 8 years.
Okay.
And I've been very consistent in this. Like, if you know IKEA, you know, if you hear IKEA, you probably will have to think about career stuff, right? So I think I've built my my name on my brand. Were you
conscious about this?
That's what I was saying earlier. I said that when I was starting, I wasn't even conscious about it. I was just paying it forward. But I was just paying it forward in the career space.
It flowed naturally.
Yeah, it just flowed naturally. So I wasn't conscious about it at all. And I'll tell you that sometimes I started the consultancy because a company in the UK reached out to me for me to do some work for them. Wow. And then I realized that, okay, then that's what it is.
Man, like the more you talk about your story, the more it's like, I feel like everything was just treated like, it's not like you're aware, like
exactly
everything was,
and
just
that's
really...
a little dangerous because it's not like your typical
true.
So the consultant, I didn't get her to say, okay, I'm going to do this consultancy thing, right? So even
you didn't even write a plan, like a plan for your...
No, when I was leaving, when I decided to leave Ashesi, for example, 2021, I actually had people in there asking me, so what exactly, like, are you telling me that you're now going to charge people for, if somebody's bringing their CV for you to review, well, how much are you going to charge? 100 C's, 200? Is that what you're going to do? Like, think about this thing. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm going to do. But I didn't really have a solid plan. I just knew that I wanted to do this. And that's what I don't advise people to do this. It was a very dangerous, or it is a dangerous thing.
Because our last Mr. Deal, you remember Mr. Deal?
It's not, just, it's not something that I advise someone to do. But like I said earlier, I knew I had this picture of what I wanted to, or who I wanted to, or who I want to become, right? But as to how to get there, of course, I had to to figure it out. So I got a deal from a company in the UK, and then it was a 4 months contract, and that's when I realized that, okay, so they're actually engaging me on that. It's like consulting.
Wow.
And that's when I went to register the company, and then I got things happening, and then I realized, okay, that's what we have to do now. So I think your question was I think we answered the question.
Yeah,
about
you did. Like in relation to how you were able to help. You've helped some students,
students, definitely.
Exactly.
And so definitely, I can always connect you with them.
Okay.
And just say, hey,
people are here. Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
Maybe I should get links. Wow.
If I don't have that, how could I? But I must know someone who knows someone, some way, somehow. Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of the tertiary people really, like the moment you probably organize a seminar in any of the tertiary institution, I'm sure it's always filled up. Like they know that the Akua Ampah is coming, and they know that for sure, especially the serious minded ones will be able to get access to. Because I know that sometimes when you finish school, you are so much in a hurry to get, start the whole corporate aspect. So I can imagine how Akua Ampah is coming here. And, it's like almost everybody wants to be. Do you even charge for those kind of seminars even in schools?
No. So let me break this thing down to you. Most of the things that you see me doing with these, the tertiary students or the high school students, I do this on behalf of a client.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I don't get up as virtual career office getting up and going to do a session for people in, let's say, Tech, University of Ghana or whatever, right? So for example, you have the recent one I did for the high schools was a MasterCard.
Okay.
In partnership with, in collaboration with
Springboard. They reached out to you?
No, with Springboard Foundation, right?
Okay.
And so they were having something in the high schoolers. And then I came on board. They reached out for me to come on board to facilitate the career aspect of what we're doing.
Okay.
Did you see what I mean? So I have such clients. So I have people who want to do stuff in, let's say, in education or whatever, but they want to have the career twist to it, and then I'll come in and implement that for them.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Wow.
So that's what I would mostly would do. The only thing that Virtual Career Office or my consultancy organizes is the Tertiary Unlock, which you talked about.
Okay.
That's a transition from high school to the university. And now, initially when we started, it was just for high school graduates. But now we found that tertiary students are also joining. So now we're just opening up for them to also join. We do that every year. We're doing this for 4 years. So our next one is in November, where we are inviting high school, senior high school graduates and tertiary students to just come and just do that. Yeah, so...
This is... Okay.
I wanted to ask you about a bit of a different issue. That I've seen here in Ghana that's kind of surprised me is that sort of that corruption aspect in job seeking. People asking job seekers for money before they get the job.
Right.
I've heard amounts as high as 30,000 cities and as low as 2,500 cities. For our American audience, 30,000 cities is about $2,000. Yeah, and 2,500 cities is about $170, $180. How do you advise people to navigate these sorts of situations?
I think as a job seeker, you should know that you do not have to pay before you get hired.
The desperation factor sometimes
especially
pushes people.
Because I do, especially
how do you coach them through that?
I'll just tell you that if you're going to look for a job and they're asking you to pay, don't
just ignore them.
Just ignore it.
Because it's
just as simple as that. Just ignore it. What's the guarantee that the person would even give you the job?
And have the confidence that you can get something better.
You're right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I would just it's just a simple statement.
Because the practice stops when people stop paying.
Exactly.
Too,
yeah.
Right.
And even when they pay, the question is, are they really getting the jobs?
Yeah, because it's
50-50. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah, because it's 50-50.
I don't think
some do. I know.
Some do.
I know.
Some don't.
I know a delivery guy. He's a trained teacher. I think he had to pay about 12,000
cities
to enter into the GES.
Okay.
He got it.
He got it?
Okay. He actually paid 12,000 cities.
Which is for, I guess, outside audience, that's about $800.
Yeah.
It's unheard of in most countries.
If you can pay 12,000 Ghana cedis to get into the name, might as well just start a business, no?
I know, right?
It depends what kind of business, but...
Yeah, so you need to sit down and...
A small business.
That will grow.
Do people really think like that? Because people wouldn't mind paying, especially people fighting to get into the government sectors. Like, they pay that amount. It's funny enough, it happened when
GES?
the Ghana Education Service.
Okay.
So people pay so much to even enter into the payroll system, especially when it comes to the government institutions.
Yeah.
Because they feel like when they enter, it's like there's some level of assurity in relation to their jobs, and they get access to so many kind of things, so they wouldn't mind paying, like even the police service, the military service.
They pay to get into there.
Yes.
Yeah, I know somebody else trying to get into the military, and he was like,
they pay the immigration service. People pay so much, especially because they know that 15,000 is no money. They would eventually get it back. So they pay so much, bro.
Yeah.
I think for me, I haven't really had to engage people who want to be in the public sector. I'm just realizing that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just realizing my audience, I don't think they mostly want to do the private things and all that. So I won't say this is new to me, but I sort of have an idea of what you're talking about. But I haven't gotten someone reaching out say that, okay, I needed to pay this amount of money. So what do you think?
Okay.
It's hard to talk people out of it. I've had people come to me like, hey,
yeah,
they ask me for the money. And I'm like, wait, you want me to pay somebody to give you a job to work for them? Why don't you just work for me?
So you know what? So everything we are talking about, everything we are talking about, you know what my mind is going to? I just feel like parenting is the core of everything we are talking about.
Wow.
If we have parents who are doing what they are supposed to do, in the sense of coaching even their kids, making them feel like they are worth it.
Confidence level.
They can do this. I need you to, and also when they see potential in them, they bring it out. They take them to maybe training academies or whatever for them to nurture these talents, for example. We probably will not have issues like this.
Interesting.
That's what I feel. Everything we've been talking about, even not just this podcast or conversations that we are having, I think borderline parenting. People are just not doing what parents are not doing what they're supposed to do. So we are actually having young people who are not confident, who are not, who are just, I guess, what's the right word to use? Buying something for, that's not the right word. I want to use a particular word, but they are shortchanging. That's what I'm trying to say.
Selling themselves short.
Exactly.
Shortchanging is what's happening now, because you can talk to someone and you can tell that they have a lot of potential, but they don't even feel confident about it because nobody even told them when they were young, or even when they tried to showcase that or demonstrate that, they had their parents probably saying, please, you are too known, like stop that.
That's true.
All those things,
That's
right?
true.
So people have grown with some trauma or something that is just preventing them from coming out and being the best that they can. That's really that's really what it is.
You can coach somebody
to come out of it,
to be a desperate person. Sadly, as a parent,
you can
coach someone,
and it's happening,
and that's what is happening. Because some like with this young people, when sometimes when they come to me and talk to me about issues, right? I feel that it's not just about equipping them with the skills. Sometimes it goes beyond that. It's not really even a skills development issue. It's an upbringing issue, and that's it. Because you can have the skills, you can communicate effectively, but then you can see a role and say, this is not for me. And I think we're talking about that. You can be very articulate, you can be confident, you can be whatever, but you can see a role and say, no, this one, where I come from, we don't go to these places. You'll be surprised. I literally had to hold the students and I say, you know what, you are applying for this role. And it looked like I was the one who wanted that job. I said, you are applying for the angels. I was like, yeah, I want to, but we don't. It's not for me. It's not, this thing is not for me. I don't think
because
it's for
me.
But if the parents, made him or her feel that, you know what, this is yours, like you're saying with the Nigerians. Of course, we'll have a lot of people who will even start their own business if they feel like, the corporate thing is not working. I'm going to start my own business.
So this particular one, I mean, it talks about, because this question is directed towards the move as to the whole high school project. Corruption is really on a high, especially in Ghana. And you realize that the youth is seeing what the elderly people are doing, and it looks like there's a pattern where we are following that aspect. Now, do you feel like you actually taking that role, going to these high schools to actually help mentor and change their mind? It's something that's going to transform minds in such a way to want to be better people, to want to do better in this country, and actually help the country, get back to the state where it needs to be, and eventually, wipe away that certain aspect of the corruption. Definitely. Because right now, even the youth of today are everybody's running to Galamsey right now,
Sad.
Do you feel like the mindset, all of these things, are you playing that role, especially in relation to what you're doing?
Right. I'm big on mindset change. That's it. So even if I'm doing career coaching or whatever, for me, it's just I want to know where you are at right now and see how I can help you. Right? So I've actually had people walk up to me to say that, hey, they used to think in a certain way, but now after we had the session and all that now, they are actually going to pay attention to knowing who they are, their purpose, their assignments. And as a result of that, that would mean that, of course, it's going to be a whole change.
Is that why you
Mindset
targeted
change.
the high school people in a way? Or you go to JSS too eventually?
So the high school for me, because I worked in the university for the longest time, and I saw where the problem was. I felt like, okay, we were sort of getting people who already have their minds fixated on something. It's difficult to change someone who is in their 23 or 25. But when you go lower, you can get them or catch them young.
Okay.
Right? And so that's why my focus shifted from tertiary to high school.
Okay.
Yeah, because I felt that we can make the change there. But I've done some work with the high school, but that's not really my focus. But of course, if I have a client who wants me to do something for them, why not? I'm happy to do that. Yeah. But so the high school is really because I felt that at that level you can sort of help with a mindset change and all. But tertiary, I feel that at that time, if you're having if you're having mindset change conversation with them, you've lost them. Wow. Because at that time, really, they are there to have fun. They already know what they want to. Well, not know what they want to do, but they form their own perceptions and all that. So it's very difficult.
Because, one of the things that I do, especially with my burger campaign, is I actually go to schools, and it's something where this thing came in mind, and when I have the opportunity to really interact with these young kids, sometimes these thoughtless, I get the opportunity to really talk to them. Sometimes it's just with these gestures, to gradually take away that, to help them to want to be better, to be respectful, and it's something where I realize that we are not paying attention so much to really going into these schools, into these routes, and really rebranding minds. I mean, definitely, Kojo, you talk about the books, the moral story books that, we are on, trying as much, because it's something we're personally on, because we realize that the mindset is really a big issue.
Yeah,
so
mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. The mindset is everything. The person will be well equipped with whatever skills and all that to talk right, to say that. But if their mindset is just all over the place or don't have it figured out, it'll be very difficult. Yeah.
Okay. So where can people get in touch with you? Where can they find you? virtualcareeroffice.com.
Yes, and on LinkedIn it's Akua Ampah.
Akua Ampah.
Akua Ampah. AKUAAMPH. On Instagram it will be Virtual Career Office if you want to contact the organization. And if you want to contact me personally, it's Akua Ampah _ on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Akua.
I'm so surprised I'm actually mentioning my Instagram handle because I just joined Instagram and I'm very happy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I think the audience definitely is going to gain a lot. I think people hearing you who are in that mode where they feel like they're struggling and they can't find anything, I think you can be a beacon of light that they can reach out to. So
definitely.
Thank you again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Catch us next time.
All right.
See ya.